What's going on, Spitfires? Welcome back to another episode of the Spitfire podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lemunion, the Spitfire Coach, coming at you with another episode. And this is a reflective one. I have gone through it this week, and I'm like, you know what? It's Friday. I'm going to share out my learnings, findings, observations, and what has come up since. So, for some context, a couple weeks ago, I did a workshop. It was amazing. I felt great about it. It was a lot of work. And this is something that I've been doing every 6 months with a great client. And I walked away feeling like, yeah, I got this. I did a great job. And then this week, I got feedback. And I teach classes on feedback. I teach workshops and I train people on how to give and receive feedback. And I will tell you, I was reeling from this. Now, most of the feedback was amazing. In fact, I've gotten multiple referrals and new business from it. But there were a couple stingers in there that made me take a pause. And I took it personally, which happens a lot. And the more that I've talked to other coaches and clients about this topic, the more it has made more sense. So when we have something that we are passionate about, that we love, that is a part of us, our identity. For me, it's coaching, it's teaching, it's tapping into helping people access new mindsets. When there is a critical piece of it, it's like literally saying that something's wrong with your child, or that you've got an ugly kid or an ugly house, or, I don't even care if it's an ugly house, but it feels like a piece of you just got spat on, got stomped on, that it was like, now you're not worthy. And I know better than this. I know to step back, to be objective. But what was missing was my self-care. I had just finished a road trip that took 10 and a half hours. I was just back into the office after a 4-day weekend of kind of being off of my routine. I wasn't feeling 100%. And by not being in that great mindset, I took those words as you're not good enough. And then I went into the fear spiral of you're going to get fired. They don't want to work with you anymore. Everyone hates you. Your business is over. You see how it goes. Now, none of that is true. I'm still continuing to work with this client. I've gotten business from it. I continue to work and build and grow my business. But those words hit hard. And so I sat with it. And I had a little cry over actual bread. No joke. Later that evening, I bought my fiance some bread, and it was not the bread he wanted. And I'm like, I don't know how to do anything. I can't even buy you the right bread. And this is what we do. We end up creating a new target rather than actually making it about what it was. So had my little cry, acknowledged that I felt rattled. And really, it's because I've been growing so much and expanding and working with new clients that I've been going really fast, and I haven't been doing the work on reflecting and taking stock and rebuilding the foundation and the systems and processes, which we're doing now. And so once I had that recognition, I went and worked the process, which is to go inward and ask yourself, how do I up level from this experience? What is this experience trying to get me to pay attention to? What is it highlighting? And I ended up having a great conversation with the client. And really what it was calling for was more structure, more intentional time and timing, more key learning objectives, because people needed to feel like it was connecting the dots. And because I was able to get over myself, to depersonalize it, I was able to absorb all of these amazing gems that is not just going to make this program better, but is going to roll out to other programming and offerings that I'm doing for clients. So if you can not make it about you, you can truly receive it as a gift. Now, the caveat on that is that there needs to be trust and safety already established in the dynamic. So this client sent me the feedback in advance prior to our call, and I gave myself a day to respond, and I thanked them for the advance notice so that I could process through it. If you just land this feedback on someone's lap, a couple minutes, an hour, or you give it to them in the moment, they don't have enough space and time to process it. And you're not necessarily giving them permission to process. You're saying, this is on my terms, take it, this is what it is. So the first piece is to be very thoughtful about what your intention in sharing the feedback is. Is it to criticize? Is it to improve? Is it to brainstorm? Is it to share out? Is it to question and ponder? If you're not clear about that, it's going to probably not come out in the way you want to. So I'm sharing this feedback with you for our conversation and how we can look at our programming. You don't even need to see that in the email, but as you have the call and the discussion with the other person, this allows it to come out in a much more constructive way. And if you come at it from questions of what are we looking to accomplish with this, and hearing this feedback, how does that guide us towards that outcome? Now, if the feedback doesn't guide you to the outcome that you mutually are creating, that person may just have been having a bad day, which absolutely exists. And some people have a very critical eye. But what we don't want to do is throw it out and discount it and make up a story about the individual who's giving the feedback, because we want to hear that. We want to learn from it. Now, do we need to be insulted? No. And that's not what any of this was. But sometimes we internalize it as an insult. And so if we can look at, how does this help me? How does this help me build? How does this support our future vision? We can use that intel, that other perspective that we might have a blind spot around, to improve. So we're now 4 days out from that feedback. I'm feeling much better. I have a long list of items that I'm going to evaluate and restructure, and we're going to regroup. And then I'm going to look through my other materials and look at how do we go forward in creating more structure and clearer learning objectives and more intentionality around group work and exercises. So now I have a game plan. And when you have clear plans, when you have clear information, clear resources, and a clear desire, everything gets easier. So first things first, take a breath. And just acknowledge that you're human having a human experience. No one is perfect in this thing called life. No one has the perfect program, the perfect product, the perfect service. So the more space that we can open up to learn, to reflect, to grow, to listen actively, to hear what people are saying, it allows us to create even better offerings. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you have learned from my journey of self-reflection and the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And I hope that you can apply this and really take the gift of feedback and use it going forward. Y'all keep being awesome.